Hey, it's your girl Barbie J. Welcome to my channel. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Tyler Perry's other comedy drama, Zatima, Season 4, Episode 7, Stronger Together. And the synopsis for this episode reads, Fatima confides in Angela about Leslie's alarming behavior. Does she really? Belinda faces the truth about her feelings for Nathan. Is she crazy? And Connie learns a lesson about the importance of a loving support system. Yes, she does. So now this was another great episode of Zatima. We are all enjoying the storylines, aren't you? Put it down in the comment section because we love how quickly this show moves along, don't we? Anyway, before we get started, if you're new here or if you're returning and have not subscribed to this channel as of yet, please take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell and select all. It'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel and also whenever I go live. Then I ask that you hit that like button, which is the thumbs up button, write a comment down below and join the conversation. Put in your 2 cents. Let us know what you're thinking about this episode. And then I ask that you share because sharing is caring and you want to help this sister's channel grow. Thank you. So this episode starts off with Zach helping Fatima put on her shoes before she goes to work, and she's asking him to back off. She don't want him fussing all over her. He trying to pick her up, help her get up. She's saying he dropped her last time and all this stuff. He's like, how am I supposed to help you if you don't want me to, you keep telling me to back off? And she just was like, if you don't back off, I'm gonna scream. And he's like, okay, fine, just relax. I was like, what is wrong with her? He said, then just tell me and stuff. She said, that's what I said, but it wasn't what she said. Anyway, he's like, you know what? I got stuff to do. This baby shower's a lot. What do you mean the baby shower's a lot? Well, it kind of grew. And she's like, what? That's it. I'm taking over. And he's like, nope, you need to go to work. Just go to work. And he also asked her to stop cussing around the baby. And she's like, oh, Zach, shut the F up. And I'm like, girl, listen to your man. So now they show Fatima arriving at work. She's getting out of her car, looking around, being cautious. And as she turns around to dig into her car, somebody taps on her shoulder and she jumps and turns around. And it's Angela. First of all, Angela, why would you tap her lightly like that on her shoulder and scare her? Why you can't just walk up and say, hey, girl, or something like that? But not even that. How come she didn't hear Angela walk up? Angela always got on some heels. So you could hear that clickety clack of somebody coming by. She should have even seen her when she got out her car looking around. I'm just saying, I just find little things like that really interesting when they putting together these shows. For me, it's like, make it make sense. Okay, just make it make a little bit more sense than it's making. All right. So for whatever reason, Fatima doesn't want to admit to Angela that she's feeling a bit insecure and nervous about something. And somehow Angela figures out it's that girl Leslie or whatever. And now she finally telling Fatima about the day Leslie came near when she was in the hospital after getting shot at. And she's like, I should have kicked her butt then when she broke in. But then she said, but she had the key. So is that breaking in if she has the key? She told me you gave her the key. She's like, when was you going to tell me this? I'm like, exactly. And Angela gave a wickety whack excuse, but that was months ago. Look how big Fatima is now. There was a lot going on that day, but why haven't you told her since? So now Fatima don't want to talk about it. She won't talk about anything but that. But then she's like, she don't want Zach to know. Zach, I just got him to relax and back up off me and give me some space. You are pregnant with his child. He has to watch out for you. And you're not being very smart, are you? Because you're not doing what the things you promised, like you were supposed to have a police escort the night before. You didn't do that. You're walking around in heels when you know your feet are killing you every night. And then you're sitting there keeping secrets from him again, and you know how he feels about secrets. So it's not making sense, y'all. I wish they would stop having Fatima act like this, and please stop putting it on the hormones, okay? Because she been this way. Next, we see a quick scene with Angela talking to Stephanie, the receptionist at the law firm, and she's realizing that she lost a lot of weight. So she's saying she's been taking that weight loss pill called Finatrel or something like that. And so, Angela's asking her some questions, but swearing that she's not interested in it, because it's supposed to be for diabetes, but, isn't that dangerous? You're using it for something else and blah, blah, blah. But Stephanie said, not if you eating healthy to begin with. So She said, but let me know if you want me to hook you up with it. Angela's acting like she's not interested, but we know she's going to do it. You could tell by the way she's looking at Stephanie. Plus, some of my subscribers have said they already seen the Zinger on social media looking a bit smaller. So I guess she's really going to do it and they're just working it into the storyline. But let's be honest, even though you look good and sexy as a big woman, some health issues do arise from being overweight. So when Stephanie leaves the break room, Angela's looking at herself in the mirror and she's checking out her weight and stuff. And then Zach calls and asks, are we still on for the emergency baby shower meeting that they're having? So Angela says, yeah, and they make arrangements to meet at a place called Olive at noon. When they hang up, we have Preston. He comes in there and he lets Zach know some good news about that LOI that they were trying to get. And they needed to meet with the owner at lunchtime that day, but Zach couldn't make it. So he said, that's okay. Me and Bryce will do it. And you go on and take care of what you got to take care of. So now back over to the law firm with Fatima. She's sitting in the conference room calling Sage, and she's asking her, has she looked over the documents she sent? She said she hasn't yet. She said, she doesn't usually look that stuff over because it's boring and y'all get paid the big bucks to do that. And Fatima said, I hope this doesn't come off mean, but you not looking over your legal documents is what got us here in the first place. And she was like, damn. And she said, oh, too far? She said, no, you're a straight shooter, and that's what I need in my life. She said, well, you got it now. So they make arrangements to meet at the venue so that Fatima could go over the legal documents with Sage, because Sage admitted that she doesn't always understand the terminology. So now Chelsea walks in there to see how things are going with Fatima. Fatima gives her an update, and then Chelsea says, if you need anything else, let me know. And she said, well, actually, I've been trying to get in touch with your cousin. She's like, what? She ghosted you? So then when she said, let me call her, Fatima goes, oh, no, never mind. She said, because I'm going to get an ex-friend of mine to do it. Why did you tell her you needed to get in touch with her, and then you say, never mind, when she's about to call? It made no sense. But those are the little things that I see in the script, and I wonder why they did that, or did somebody fail to recognize that? You know what I mean? And then I have this need to mention it to all of you. So I'm sorry. So Chelsea offers to make it up to Fatima. Fatima says it's okay. And she said the same thing about the money. You already gave her the money up front. Oh, it's okay. Everybody's okay with just giving away money freely? It made no sense. But as Chelsea turned to leave out of the conference room, here comes Leslie walking by wearing the same dress as Fatima. And Fatima's so in shock, she's looking at her saying, no, this biatch ain't. And she watching her. Instead of moving, she couldn't even move. She just stood there. By the time she moved and we left out of the conference room, she couldn't find which way Leslie went in the office. All of a sudden, there's a million people walking in the hallway at this law firm. I mean, there was more people walking around in the hallways of this law firm than they have at higher airlines on sisters, Did y'all notice it? It was ridiculous. So now we see Zach and Angela meeting up to discuss the baby shower. And they're going over things like the venue, decorations, how many people, stuff like that. So Angela's telling Zach that he's paying too much for the venue, and she's suggesting that they have it at the law firm. So about the lobby of the law firm looks similar to the venue. How the lobby of the damn law firm looks similar to a venue you said looks beautiful? I don't know. But then she also suggested that the people working there wear masks, because you know how Fatima is about people breathing on her. We don't know nothing about that. But I'm telling y'all right now, those two things that Angela said, it's going to help Crazy Leslie get in there. I guarantee that's what is going to happen. So now Angela said two things that I need to correct her on. And I don't know why she thought she could correct Zach on. Zach was saying why he did all he did. He said, look, this is our first baby. No, it's her first baby. No, it's their first baby, Angela. Zach was absolutely right. And then Zach said, I wanted it to be special for her. Just her? Okay, I want it to be special for both of us. So if it's going to be special for him, it's because it's our baby, Angela. Oh my goodness. But anyway, we also found out from Angela that when Fatima found out that Zach had a baby mama, she and Fatima did a deep dive on Heather's social media to find out stuff about her. And so after they finished, Zach asked her not to tell Fatima until after the shower that she helped her. And she said, y'all and y'all secrets. And he said, y'all, what you mean? Fatima got a secret? What's Fatima got going on? Nothing. I didn't say nothing. I was like, Yeah, but his secret is different. He said you could tell her after the shower. He didn't want her getting stressed about it. That's why. Fatima's secret could be dangerous for her. She needs to have some security, and Jack need to know that somebody is after his wife, especially since she is pregnant. But we got to give Zach his kudos because, like they said, most men wouldn't have nothing to do with that baby shower. He took this project on and he's doing great at it. You know what I mean? And like she said, most men wouldn't even be there. They wouldn't even show up to the baby shower. So kudos to you, Zach, for stepping up and defying the stereotype of men and baby showers. Oh, and there was one more thing that Angela said that cracked me up. Zach is talking about a nice fountain and a moat and a throne. And she ain't say nothing about the moat. And I was like, a moat at the baby shower? I've seen thrones. I've seen many of thrones at baby showers for the mama and the baby daddy. So I don't know why Angela had a problem with that. It made no sense because Fatima is Zach's queen, baby. She's the queen. Coming to America. I'm sorry. She's the queen. But anyway, this next scene cracks me up too. Nathan comes to Belinda's house returning the stuff that he stole from her. I said, what? He said him and his wife is getting back together. They're going to try to make it work out. So she was like, I don't think you want that hoe. I think you're just making up reasons to come here because you want me back. And he said, yeah, you think so? And so he plays along and get up close with her. And she bend her head back to kiss him. And he said, nah, I'm good. And he goes out the door and said, and lose my number. She's like, what, nigga? What? She losing her mind. See, she ain't used to being turned down. So now she getting turned down, and all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, she wants him. That turned, why people always want what they can't have? You threw the brother out. You didn't like his toenail clippings around in dirty socks. You don't want him. So let it go. Let it go, Belinda. So he's gone, and she's like, I miss my Igga. And then her phone rings, and it's Fatima calling, asking her to do her hair for her baby shower shoot. She already told Chelsea she already had somebody doing it, but she didn't. So that's why I'm like, I pay attention to these things. How are you telling somebody else you got somebody when you don't? I mean, what if Belinda wasn't available? So now we're over at the hospital and we see Connie sitting there receiving her chemo treatment. And she's kicking her feet, and another patient in there sees this, and it's an older woman, and she says something to Connie, and they start a conversation, talking and chatting. Then she finds out that Connie doesn't have a support system, and she's telling her she needs one. She needs some family and friends. She can't go through this by herself, and Connie's like, she don't want to bother them. And she's like, no, it's only a bother to people who don't care. She said, you have to let your kids know. So the lady gave her a scenario and saying, how would you feel if I was your friend and I died of cancer and didn't tell you? She said, I'd be mad. She said, and don't you think your people would be mad too? Oh, it's different. She keeps saying it's different, but it's not. And then she found out her kids don't know, even though they little, you got to tell them. You're going to leave them upset and because they won't know what was going on. So she admitted that she did tell one person. I did tell y'all I thought she had told Tony. So she did tell one person and made him swear not to tell anybody else. So this other chemo patient is trying to encourage Connie to get a support system so she doesn't fight alone. Because right now that's what she's doing, fighting alone. And Miss Betty is like, I don't know what I would do without my sister and my husband. And, that's what she was saying. So as they're talking, Connie's phone rings, and whoever's on there saying that something happened with Jeremiah. And she told them, don't worry, she'll go check on him. She happened to be at the hospital for something else. So she's about to jump up and go there. And she got this thing hooked onto her. And Miss Betty, nurse, a doctor, she called somebody. And the doctor comes in and Connie asks how much more time she has. She said about 10 more minutes. So she asked the doctor to do her favor and find out for her what room that Jeremiah Matthews is in. And she said, I could do that. So I'm assuming that Connie sat there and did her 10 extra minutes and didn't try to pull that stuff off and go there. Because I don't know if y'all remember, in previous episodes, the doctor had told Connie that she had missed some of her treatments and she can't do that if she wants this process to work. And so the episode ends with Connie going to see Jeremiah in the hospital. So she asks him, did you really try to kill yourself? And he's like, I don't know. She said, well, I'm going to have to tell Zach. He's like, why? He don't care. She's like, don't say that. You don't know that. And he's like, why am I here? Why am I alive? And she said, I would ask myself that sometimes too, But she said, Jeremiah, I don't want you to go out like that. She said, I knew you before you were like this. She said, Nick, you used to hold me down. And she said, now I'm going to do the same thing for you. And he was like, all right. So then he asked her why she got that patch on her chest. And she had to make up some story talking about, birth control, I don't want to have no more kids. And he said, I've been on this stuff a long time and it messes with your head a lot. He said, but I know one thing that'll never change about me. And she's like, what's that? He said, I know when someone's lying. He said, and you're lying about something big. I said, you better go ahead, Jeremiah. He's like, them drugs ain't got me that jacked up. I know what the heck is going on and something's going down. He know ain't no birth control being done through your chest, through your titty. Come on, Connie. Give us a break. Anyway, that's the way this episode ended. I loved it. And I want to hear what all of y'all thought about the episode. Put it down in the comment section. And I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl, Barbie J, saying peace.